Hello, I am non-binary Jam, as you can see by the name of my channel. Um, Surprise, surprise, I am non-binary. I am also AroAce. I'm also not going to edit this video because I don't want to. So that means there might be a lot of ums and a lot of filler words and things that don't make sense or me repeating myself. I want to talk in this video about my experience with being AroAce because I've seen a lot of YouTube videos about it recently, and I've seen a lot of TikToks about people talking about their experience, and there's also not a lot of representation in characters in media. So I thought it would be nice for me to talk about it, even though I have no idea who's gonna see this. Probably not a lot of people, but if this helps at least one person, it'll make it all worth it. I'm filming this 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm a mess. Don't worry about it. So like I said, I'm AroAce, but I am also only 18. So I figured it out somewhat quickly depending on the ages of people, like other members of the LGBTQ plus community who figured out that they're AroAce. Some people might figure it out later in life, some people might figure it out earlier. I figured it out at the age of 16, maybe? And I've stuck with it since then, so I think it's right. But there's that little feeling in my mind every time someone goes, "You just haven't found the right person yet." That's like, yeah, maybe I haven't. And then I go through the whole crisis again and end up right back at the beginning of, oh yes, I'm AroAce. Because guess what? I'm AroAce. So that's a whole situation that I keep ending up in because I'm like, oh, maybe I just haven't. My mother is like very like constant in the fact that I'm gonna find someone, I'm gonna end up in a romantic relationship with them, and I'm gonna end up having sex with them and whatever and having kids, and that scares me. But like that's terrifying because I don't want that. Because I'm AroAce and I don't want to like push myself to be in that like situation if I don't want to be in that situation. Like it just doesn't make sense to me why someone would like tell me that. Even though I never fully came out to my mum as AroAce. I just kind of told her that I'm not really interested in anyone, and I think she didn't take that in the way of me telling her that I was AroAce. So I might have to rejig that again anywhere. But I want to talk about sort of like how I figured it out and my experiences in the past and how I look back on them as more aware than I was before. So I figured it out during COVID, or I started figuring things out during COVID, not entirely. But COVID was a whole process. People watching this, I don't know, when you were born, you might have been only a little kid during COVID or fully blown adult, I don't know. And I was 13, I think, when COVID started. I was in year 7. I'm British, so I use years. Shocker. So I think I was 13. And I was dating a boy. Like, I had a boyfriend when COVID started. And then I just kind of took the time during COVID where I was spending a lot of time at home by myself to basically think about me and myself and who I was. Because while you're going to school every day from like 9 till 3, and then you get home and you end up playing out with your friends a lot of the time. That was my experience because my parents never let me like not go out if there was someone at the door. But you didn't end up having a lot of time to yourself and like just to think about things, and I didn't really have much reason to before COVID because little me, between the ages of like 9 and 13, thought they were bisexual because I didn't care the gender of who I dated because as I figured out now, it doesn't really matter because I don't like anyone. Or I might see the thing is about being AroAce. If you don't know what being AroAce is, it's a combination of aromantic and asexual. Aromantic are those who experience little to no romantic attraction. Asexuals are people who experience little to no sexual attraction. If you don't know what romantic and sexual attraction are, romantic attraction is what makes someone want to be makes you want to make someone else your partner. Like, if you look at someone and go, I want that person to be my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my partner, that's romantic attraction. And sexual attraction is I want to fuck that person, basically. But I experience neither, or have experienced neither, because, But yeah, during COVID, I went through a lot of different labels and identities and pronouns and everything because I just wanted to find what fit best for me, which I think I've done. But again, I'm 18, things can change. I might not know myself as well as I think I know myself. So it's learning who you are is a whole process, and I don't believe you're ever really done because things can change. But how I found out was basically I was talking to my brother and we were basically talking about people we like, and I just kind of realized that I'd never really liked anyone romantically, even though between the years of year 3 and year 7, I'd been in multiple relationships and had multiple boyfriends. But then again, like, does childhood really count as, like, liking someone properly? Because I don't think anyone really understands it at that point, and I think we need to think about the fact that not everyone does understand themselves or their feelings, or if they like someone or have a crush or whatever at that age. So when I look back at those relationships and those boyfriends that I had, I realized that I didn't want to end up in a relationship with them. I did it for multiple reasons. I did it first of all because I thought it was normal to be in a relationship and have crushes and end up with people. Second of all, because I was peer pressured. Yay! But people basically told me that if someone likes you, you have to like them back. That's not how it works. But little me thought that was how it worked, when I know now that it's not. So I'm smarter now. I was a very naive child. I ended up in a lot of bad friendships and relationships and everything. But yeah, I ended up in relationships because I thought that was normal and people told me it was normal, so I did it because I believed I had to, which obviously now I know is not true. But me personally, I have a hard time differentiating between romantic attraction and aesthetic attraction. Romantic attraction is, as I said before, when you like someone and want them to be your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or whatever else. Aesthetic attraction is when you think someone's attractive. I thought thinking someone was attractive meant that I had a crush on them. So I've ended up in a lot of situations where I've been like, oh, that person's so pretty, I must like them. No, that's not how it works. I can think someone's pretty without having to have a crush on them. So, yeah, there's that situation. this all might be confusing and you might have clicked off by now, but I'm just speaking my truth, I guess. But like things that I've realized is crushes as a child are a lot different to full-on relationships as you grow up in like teen years, adult years, whatever. Um, I had more points, but I didn't write a script for this, so I'm just like out my brain. Um, don't don't listen to people when they tell you that you have to like someone, because there were so many situations I ended up in where basically one of my friends was like, "Oh, who'd you have a crush on?" That person. That guy over there. Mhm. Because I didn't have a crush on anyone, and I thought I had to pick someone because I thought everyone had a crush. I thought that was the rules. I thought there was no in between. How wrong I was. But it's romantic and asexual attraction. No, romantic and sexual attractions are so complex because there's so many different labels, and even within the AroAce community there's so many different labels, and I don't personally use any of like the micro labels because I don't fully understand them and I haven't looked into them enough and I haven't found one that fits me perfectly, so I'm just AroAce, and also I don't know where life's gonna take me, so but there are so many different labels that it can be hard to find one that fits you because there's so many different ones for different specific things that it can sometimes feel a little daunting, or like you're in a little bit of a cage or in a box when you pick a label, because they all mean such specific things that there's not always the right one for you. And that's why I love umbrella terms. I love them so much because they're just them. I love them because it means that I am less in a box. I used the unlabeled label, which is an insane sentence, for so long because I was trying to figure out who I was and I didn't know. So I was like, well, if I don't know, how can anyone else know? So I must be unlabeled because don't I don't have a label I feel comfortable with. So for a long time I was like, yeah, I must be unlabeled because it's not really anything specific. So I used that one for a while. Bisexual is another big one that I'm like, yeah, I used that one for a long time. And same with pan. I used bi and pan a lot because it was like, well, I don't care who I'm attracted to because I don't care the gender of who I'm attracted to, which now I know is because I'm not attracted to anyone. The thing is, something that confused me a lot when I was trying to figure this out was fictional characters. You're gonna have to sit with me on this one. Because I found a lot of fictional characters attractive and have had crushes on fictional characters. Because everyone does. Well, not necessarily everyone, but a lot of people do. Even AroAce people have crushes on fictional characters. Because it's different having a crush on an actual person. Because the thing about fictional characters that is like appealing to me is that they are out of reach and not real. I could never physically date a fictional character because they're not real. So I've played a lot of dating games. Shocker. I've played A Date with Death, I've played Date Everything, I've played some of those weird ones where you've got it like where the main love interest is a yandere boyfriend because they're interesting, I guess. But that doesn't mean that I'm not AroAce because they're fictional and it's different with fictional characters. And even people with other like sexual identities or romantic identities will tell you that fictional characters are different. My older brother, for example, is a gay man, but he will have crushes on fictional women because they're fictional. They're different. They're not real women. Yeah? This could be a bit confusing, and I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. And I will answer any questions that anyone puts in the comments, because people want to know, and I'm gonna give them answers if I can. It's hard to remember what I've been over and what I haven't. But yeah, when I was in like primary school, infant school, I ended up with the popular girls. So, but I ended up with the popular girls because I ended up being like, oh, they're doing that, so I have to do that too. And when I was with the popular girls, they'd always ask me, who's your celebrity crush? Who's your, like, crush in our year? Who, blah blah blah. And I just, like, named guys. Because what else was I to do? I was a little naive child who didn't understand anything. I was a little child who didn't understand that people didn't have to have crushes or have to have people they liked. So I'm very glad I figured this out. I'm very glad I figured this out before I got well into adulthood. I'm glad I figured this out before adulthood, actually, because I feel like life would be so much harder for me if I was trying to figure out this at adulthood. Something about being AroAce that is important, though, is that there's probably going to be that nagging feeling in your head constantly that's like, what if I do find the right person? What if I am just, like, missing out on one of the main fundamentals of being a human being? Because apparently that's falling in love, having kids, having a family. So it does just kind of, it does feel isolating. But as long as you find the right people, you'll be okay. You just need to have the right people in your life to support you. Because support is a very good thing, and we love being supported. There is a lot of, no, there's not a lot of AroAce representation in media, but there is a good few amount. There's, I can't think of any off the top of my head. Lilith from the Owl House is canonically AroAce. Peridot from Steven Universe is canonically AroAce. Isaac from Heartstopper is canonically, I don't know if it's AroAce or Ace, but he's on the spectrum. There's a few off the top of my head. I keep getting catfished with TV shows where it's like the main character currently has no romantic interest because they don't think they feel love or attraction to whoever, and then they end up finding the right person anyway. So what am I meant to do? I need more AroAce representation. We need more queer representation in a lot of cases anyway, but that's getting better, I feel. I need AroAce representation. I want to be seen in media. Anyway, end of tangent. First final point, feel free to leave any questions in the comments and I will get around to answering them whenever I can. I am also indecisive as hell and put off things a lot. I haven't streamed this week. I didn't stream last week. Well, it's 4 o'clock on Thursday, 4 a.m. on Thursday, so, and I haven't streamed this week, so, and I didn't stream last week, so, if you're getting a stream, eventually. Second finishing point, I will make part 2 to this, about my non-binary experience. I'll be shocked if you sat through to this point, to be honest. I will make a part 2 about my experience with being non-binary and pronouns and how I express my gender and everything like that. Third closing point. You are valid. No matter what. No matter what anyone tells you. Doesn't matter. Your feelings are valid. Your labels are valid. Everything about you is valid. Have a good night. Or day. Or afternoon. Or whatever time it is for you when you're watching this. Mwah.